Hi, my name is Kayla Loomis, and this is my research project presentation on the effectiveness of multisensory language instruction on special education students. I'm really excited to show and present my project to you guys today. So, first, for the agenda of what we're going to be doing is followed below. First is an introduction to myself and to the study. Next is a methodology. Following that will be the findings, and then the implications to take away, then the conclusions and acknowledgments. So, just a quick little introduction to myself. So, my name is Kayla, and I am a first year fifth grade special education teacher. I integrate with the general education teachers and students and help teach with that. And then I also pull out for tier two instruction for my special ed teachers and for my students for math and reading. And then next year, I'm teaching K2 self contained, which I'm also changing the mindset a little bit. But I believe that this multi-sensory learning instruction, it can be for any grade level, any ages, and I believe that this can really be used wherever I go. So I'm excited. Okay, so I inspired myself for this project. I'm a special education teacher and I believe that every single child can learn. In the book Comprehensive Literacy for All, teaching students with significant disabilities to read and write, the authors Karen Erickson and David Kay, they talked about how important it is to have a literacy foundation and how it's essential that learning and reading, they all act as a gateway for academic success, critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, lifelong learning, social and emotional development, and personal fulfillment. All of these things that literacy can start as a gateway for can help every single student be an independent learner inside and outside of the classroom. So just a quick little study of the context and what my gap was that I was researching. So I use the school A.W. Becker Elementary School, which is in upstate New York. And the gap that I was trying to research was that most of my students read at a second grade level and they read with many spaces and gaps in between their words. So when they're reading stories and passages, they have no idea what they're reading because their brain goes a million miles per minute and they've read one word 5 seconds ago and the next word in 45 seconds. So then they're like, I don't know what I'm reading. And it takes them a long time to really understand what they're doing. So I wanted to see if multisensory learning instruction would help close the gap between reading fluently. So I used Jean Piaget's cognitive learning theory as the framework for this study. Cognitive learning theory involves how the brain is able to process and retain information through experiences, senses, and thoughts. This is an active process that allows learners to be involved and engaged in what they're doing so that they're better able to store information in their brains. Students today are constantly being surrounded by objects, ideas, and others, and they're being organized into their brain at a time. And this can be really difficult for students who have disability or very intensive needs. And that teachers need to understand that when we're being teaching to these students and using multisensory instruction, it'll really help their students really organize their thoughts in their brain and improve their academic performance of what is being expected of them. Teachers can then learn how to understand how their child's brain understands and report in information through the lens of Piaget's lens of cognitive development. So, next is the methodology. So, the purpose of this quasi experimental study is to determine if multisensory learning instruction has an effect of oral reading fluency. So, I use a suburban elementary school in New York, and students will receive multisensory learning instruction from the teacher to determine if this strategy helps show growth in reading fluency. So, we will be using the program called Really Great Reading. So next, I'm going to show you the passage that we use for the pretest and the post-test fluency. So we used a fifth grade level screening, and I just wanted to see how students would be able to show their growth. So if you wanted to pause this and really read it, feel free to do that. So after we did that, I got to see if the students, how many words they read per minute, how many errors they made in 1 minute, and how many words they read correctly. So next is the findings. So if you look on this table, this is words read in 1 minute. The group increased their average oral reading fluency scores. As a result, students who received really great reading instruction increased their overall reading scores by 5 words. Next on table number 2 was errors read in 1 minute. So if you look at this, the first one is 2.6 and then the mean is 1.4. So after reading really great reading instruction, the amount of errors decreased by 1.2 words. It's really awesome to see that the students either stayed at the same or they decreased their errors. So that tells a lot that they are learning about how to read. Next on table number 3 is the oral reading fluency words read correctly in 1 minute. So for the pre-test, the mean was 69.2, and after receiving multisensory learning instruction, the mean was 75.6. So you could see that the amount of words correctly read in 1 minute increased by 6.4 words. Next is the implications map. So I broke it up into 3 themes that I think that educators, students, parents, and whoever else is watching can really take away from this video. So first is just teach. Teach through multisensory learning instruction. Whether that can be kinesthetic learning, tactile, audio, visual, musical, there's so many learning styles that can really help our students learn. And when you combine that to our 5 senses, our students will show so much growth in their learning ability. Next is group size. Teach in the smaller groups, and I recommend 3 to 5 students in a group for maximum results. Lastly is plan. Plan effectively of what learning style and sense will be used in each part of the lesson and activity. This might take a little bit at first, but I believe that in the end, you'll really get to see how much our students really grow in receiving multisensory learning instruction. And then just one thing that really educators should take away is that all students can learn despite their disabilities. Multisensory learning instruction is just a way that students can thrive and grow in their confidence in their reading and learning abilities. So for the conclusion, the findings can show that multisensory instruction is closely related to oral reading fluency. Based on the data, words read per minute increased overall, errors made decreased overall, and the words correctly read in 1 minute overall increased. So, just a quick acknowledgement. I just want to thank my parents, friends, and all my professors at Houghton University, whether that's undergraduate and master's, for their overwhelming support and just helping me to really learn how to be an effective educator. Thank you so much for everyone who watched this, and I'll leave my email description below so that if you have any questions or concerns or would like to learn more. Thank you. Have a great rest of your days.